Okay, and hello everyone. This is actually take four in theory because like you should know already, um, I punched through the ending poems of Rayland because I had only done a few. Um, or I did the whole thing. I'm not even sure. All I know is that New Year's I was pushing, and I went from about 10 or 10:30 ish, half an hour window, right up until 1:30, and I had Rayland, Kevin, and Acceptance done, which is the book we're in now, the fifth in the I See Things in Blue series. And Raylan wasn't too bad. I uploaded all of hers, and it was all right. I think half of them I might be in a different shirt because, yeah, I'm not even going to think about it because I don't think I finished them before New Year's. Um, but ultimately, this whole speech thing that I have, um, it just kind of it turned into I found my poems naturally anyway, but when this kind of like what just happened right now, it's hard to see because I don't really open my mouth, but I be trying to say things and it just doesn't come out, and I kind of like say the first letter or sounds multiple times. It's a genuine stutter. It's just hard to see because of the way I talk. But when I'm reading the poems, it's obvious because it's a full. I'm not winging it. It's a full thing, and so when I stop or kind of like silent, make pauses, and it looks like I'm trying to say something and things like that. It was happening so frequently, and I just punched through. I really wanted to get them done, and here I am. I would have been finished because I only had two more books, and now I spent Sunday and today um, doing this. And Sunday was a hot mess because for the first hour, just over an hour or so, I left my laptop up. I went downstairs thinking I'm gonna watch some stuff with my mom. Then I came up during the break. Said I'm just gonna see how far my stuff is uploaded. Everything was on 0%, except for one video that was floating somewhere around 18% because things refused to upload when the screensaver kicked in because the computer didn't go into sleep mode. It was still alive and cooking. It hadn't completely died and gone black screen, but it just stopped uploading. And so luckily, it wasn't one of those things where sometimes when the computer goes into the screensaver mode, um, it just go. You know what? It probably really did go to sleep because over an hour, and I only had it set for about 15 minutes or 30 minutes or so it did die. Um, but things just stopped working, and so luckily when I went in and I just changed the titles and everything because since I was operating it didn't work. I just figured, well, might as well do it right. It kicked back in one by one. They actually started to do the download thing, but even then, after I set the laptop to not go off at all, it was 14 poems and it took hours. And then two of them got stuck in the processing or whatever it is will start soon, and they never moved past that. And I waited and I waited and I Googled it and searched and, read different sites because I don't stop at one answer. I keep going until I get a few and then make a solid decision. And the consensus was, after all the information I found, that my safest bet was just to re-upload them. And it's now almost 2 o'clock in the morning now. And I was really hoping that I could get Kevin up and running, and I couldn't because I didn't have all the videos. Um, and so that was my Sunday when I should have been doing Lewis, which is the sixth book. And now, this morning, once it finally uploaded, that was quite literally the first thing I did, sitting on my bed. So I put out my laptop And I said, we're putting up this book. Didn't finish it because I have to upload the hardback and the paperback to the aggregator that I use for the hardback and for the paperback and the ebooks. But then I like to not use them for Amazon because I have an Amazon account, so I directly upload the hardcover version and the ebook version to Amazon, and then I'm also on Kobo, and I don't use the option to publish on Kobo books either because I like to directly upload to where my books are and not only use the aggregator for everybody else. If I can create an account at an online bookstore that will allow me as an international person to upload books, I will. And so that's what I did. And then the other thing with that is that you have to pick out a couple of genres and keywords, and I have to copy and paste the blurb to all of them. The blurb for the ebooks lets you know that the poetry is involved. There are links in the book, whereas the blurb for all of the hard copies does not, because you can't have links in paper. But the issue with that I didn't catch the first time was with Kindle. I do the ebook first, and when I choose to also do a hard copy, which is the hardback version, not the paperback version, it automatically shifts stuff over. And I forgot to go down and delete the second half of the sentence that mentioned the link. So I had to go back and fix that for Rayland, Gavin, and Dario, working backwards. But the only other issue I have with that is that every time you change something, you have to republish. And so when I was re-uploading Kevin to Amazon, I like to split screen it so that I can match the genres and the keywords to every single book so that they're all identical. But when it's in processing phase, which I did not want to wait for, which is real quick since they're already published, the first three. But I forgot about that. And so I went back in and fixed everything. And then I had to wait. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wing it. And happy accidents, I actually found better categories to put my books in. So that was good because I don't really like the Amazon categories. I like the other people, Draft to Digital that I use, and Kobo. The categories are easier to navigate. So it was nice that I found out what to do. And the one good thing about Draft to Digital is that I do the paperbacks first, so I was smart on that end because I only had to add the second half of the sentence when it said, "Do you want to start an ebook after you publish the paperback?" I said yes, and all the categories slide over. Whereas on Kindle or KDP, I have to reselect the categories for the hard copy. And I just think that's absolutely mind-bogglingly ludicrous because why aren't the categories the same? They're literally categories for the books, and it's the exact same book. It's just a hard copy. So hard copies don't get to be filed the same way as the ebooks do, which is really weird because if I pick the same thing, like young adult category, the subcategories, they do change and they kind of like shift and it doesn't go exactly where it would go when I did the ebooks, which is why I couldn't find matching categories. And that was just ludicrous to me. So that's why I needed to open it up, which I couldn't because I was still waiting for the first three books to process. Because I knew they would be different and I wanted to split screen it so I could one of the older books so I could match it with the new one. And yeah, so that's my day. So there you are. This is my fourth run of this one because I screwed it up when I did it the first time that I didn't like. I got about halfway through, and it's called The Absence of I. And at one of the points where I wasn't supposed to say I said I, and because you naturally want to say it. And I've rambled for 10 minutes now. But I kind of had to mention what I've been going through publishing these, so I don't have to say it again. So here we are, The Absence of I. Me, myself, and no, we mustn't say it. That word must remain hidden. The latter stricken from our memory because we, together, can be an us so clever and do it all without ever having to mention him. For we are strong, funny, rude, and weak. Sometimes a little depressed, but when we are at our best, we can bless the world with words of interest that can soothe the soul and make the most saddest of hearts realize they're not alone and find hope. Hope in our words and inspiration in the verses that we create. The emotions that evoke out of us are motivational, sensational, confrontational, and good conversational works of art. And as a friend, we may not be perfect, but we do the best we can, putting our friends' hearts before our own at times, committing selfless acts of kindness that need no payment in return because that's what friends are for, to give for the sake of giving and friendship being the only payment needed. Yep, we can do without that other guy. Yep, it's just you and, oh, he almost slipped in there again. So let's just say me and you instead. Swimming in the seas of our depressive head, a unit of imperfect harmony, sometimes up, sometimes down, and often mad at the world and smiling when we would rather wear a frown. And other days just mad at the world and cursing our existence. You know, even writing this, oh man, there it was, but it was caught just in time. You see, what was supposed to come out was that even poetry depresses us at times. But through the storms and rain, our lives have been raised. Survival has found us even through the most devastating trials. Happiness still eludes us, sanity too, but that's okay as long as you got me and me got you. Another lucky save that was, but yeah, we don't need nobody but us. And inside ourselves, we will find a love that breathes in the words that we write, an anger that is never hard to find. And every now and then, through the hazy mist of our existence, love breaks through and heart can be seen. So fight on we must, live on we will, travel through the seas of life on a ship built by our own hands. And even if we crash, we know we'll get back on track. Because we are invincible, me, myself, and don't say it. He knows who he is. I really thought I fixed this, but clearly, okay, I think I know what happened. Oh, I had the print version open and probably forgot to copy it because I was like, yeah, whatever. But, and even if we crash, we know we will get back on track. Just said will. And reading ahead, I was like, oh no, I'm missing a word. We know we will get back on track. I didn't mention any of the eyes there, which was great. And what I like about this is that Dario's sexuality is a big part of what he ignores. And he's also chosen, which is what acceptance is about, to move forward into exactly what he is. But somehow in his mind, he thinks if he doesn't speak to it, or if he doesn't bring it up, and if he still works toward this girl, but doesn't really acknowledge what he's going towards because the present state he's in doesn't really accept that part of him. And so even though he's decided to embrace it, he kind of thinks if he ignores it still, that he'll come out on the other side and it'll just be okay. And he could just be fully acceptant of who he is. So dealing with it, but dealing with it in a kind of hands off and work around kind of way, like it will just sort itself out because I've decided it's okay now. And so I don't have to attack it. I don't have to call it what it is. I don't have to obviously deal with it. I can like subtly and avoidingly deal with it because why mention it? And that doesn't work out so well, obviously. But that's what this one is about. How he feels he can do it. He can definitely do it, but he can still kind of behave the way he did before when he was ignoring it because admitting that it's there should be enough. He shouldn't have to verbalize it. He shouldn't have to behave like it's there. He should just be able to move it forward into being a better him without ever really thinking about that thing. But that part of him, that repressed part of him, is an enormously big part of why he tried so hard to be what he thought his parents would want him to be. And that did not work out for him. And that's why I like it. It's a very fun poem. I didn't read it like the fun poem that it is. I think some parts were fun, but otherwise, I read it the way I'm talking now, which is fine. Um, but it's nice that this fourth try did its due, and again, that's why it's here. It really speaks to Dario actively trying to be a better person and embrace who he really is, while also simultaneously not talking about or dealing with a certain part of him. Even when it comes up in conversations, like he would rather just be like, isn't it enough that I'm deciding to move forward? Why should I have to talk about it? Like he still shuts down and still stops talking about it and still can't push past that wall, even where it concerns him kind of shifting his views on faith because he doesn't lose it. He finds other ways to kind of use it in a way that fits him. But it takes him a while to land on that because he doesn't want to deal with it until he finds like a really solid answer, which require dealing with it. But that's really what this poem is about, and that's why it fit. And we're at 17 and a half minutes now. Well, a little more than that, but I feel like that's enough. So if you've made it this far, as per usual, thanks for stopping by.